We got bad news about gold from Turkey? What do you think would happen to the price of silver, the price of gold, if Jerome Powell said that the United States Federal Reserve was buying gold to prepare for the most unfortunate of circumstances? You can only imagine. What if the head of the Polish central bank said just that? That might explain why they've been buying so much gold. Also, let's talk about our friends in Turkey. When it comes to central bank gold buying and selling, why is Turkey selling gold, and what does it tell us about what's going on in the world economy and how gold can be used as an excellent hedge against inflation? The future price of gold and silver, I think it looks pretty good. What do you think? Let's dive into this subject and see what we find out. You'll be shocked in a good way when you hear what this Polish central banker has to say about gold. Also, we're going to realize why Turkey selling gold is actually not a bad thing. There's a great reason behind it. And of course, we've got to examine the United States of America and the gold standard as well. I'll give you a new video every day for the rest of my life about gold and silver. You have my promise. All I ask is that you please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notified every time I put out a new video. Now, we get news. The country of Poland in April purchased 15 tons of gold. That's the largest purchase in almost 4 years, and comes after in 2021 when the bank's governor, Adam Glapiński, said this, that Poland was planning to add 100 tons of gold to its reserves to prepare for, quote unquote, this is the words of the Polish central banker, the most unfavorable of circumstances. Do you think Poland is a significant country? I do. So if he's saying that, what does that tell us about what central bankers around the world are doing? We know they're buying record amounts of gold. Just imagine for a second if our head central banker, our friend Jerome Powell, if he uttered those words, if he uttered those truths, what would that do to the price of gold and silver? We're going to talk about the gold standard in the United States and Turkey's gold sales, but we want to hear a little more from the Polish central banker. He also said this, why does the central bank own gold? Because gold will retain its value even when someone cuts off the power to the global financial system. Of course, we do not assume that this will happen, but as the saying goes, forewarned is always insured, and the central bank is required to prepare for even the most unfavorable circumstances. Boy, we can start accusing him of being doom and gloom, right? That is why we see a special place for gold in our foreign exchange management process. First Mining Gold is a development company advancing 2 of the largest gold projects in Canada. Springpole in Ontario and Duparquet located in Quebec. Each already has 5 million ounces of gold reserves, but exploration initiatives are underway at both projects to find even more gold. First Mining is well-financed, has 0 debt, and owns an interest in 4 additional Canadian gold development projects. Do you think the central banks of the world are accumulating record amounts of gold for a reason? Let that sink in for a second. And what do top analysts have to say? Let's hear from our friend at BMO Capital Markets, Colin Hamilton. He says, quote, we expect central bank buying to remain robust this year, an ongoing tailwind for gold prices and sentiment. Guys, I know it's been a rough couple weeks with the gold price, with the silver price, but the big picture remains positive. Now let's move on to Turkey and see what's going on there. Bad news from Turkey. They sold a staggering 80 tons of gold in the month of April. Bad news, right? Central bank selling gold until you peel back the covers a little bit. And then do you know what we discover? we discover they sold it to satisfy domestic demand within Turkey. And here's where it's super interesting. That's because the Turkish residents are buying gold to help protect themselves from skyrocketing inflation that's gripping the country of Turkey. They're buying gold hand over fist, getting rid of currency, paper money, unicorn fart dust to protect themselves, to protect their wealth, to protect their buying power. Isn't that why you and I buy precious metals as well? So we have central banks around the world acquiring record amounts of gold. We have places like Turkey where the citizens are acquiring record amounts of gold to protect their buying power, to stave off the harmful effects of hyperinflation. What does that tell us? It got me thinking about the United States and the gold standard. It seems like a foreign concept to us now, doesn't it? But remember, guys, we were on the gold standard in the United States up through 1971. Our money, our dollars were backed by gold and silver. There was silver in our coinage, 90%. What does that tell us? Look, it's not been that long since the U.S. went off the gold standard. And Richard Nixon, when he made that move in 1971, explicitly said, temporarily. The world's never gone off the gold standard. You may want to argue that point with me, but I'd say that even though Tricky Dick Nixon threw up some mirrors, threw up some smoke, put on a mirage show for everyone, gold and silver still remain the base of all money. Heck, we can look no further than a former Federal Reserve governor, Mr. John Exter, who has an inverted pyramid diagram that he liked to point to that said, no matter how you slice it or dice it, gold and silver are the base of all money. You've got debt on top of it. You've got paper money. You've got electronic money. You've got derivatives. You've got all kinds of funky things that man creates. But Earth or God, however you prefer to look at it, created silver and gold, and it has been the base of our money for thousands of years and will likely continue for another thousands of years. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Go check out a live stream here, and I will see you soon. Hey everybody, it's Ron from Ron's Basement, live on the log flume. Say hi, girls.
Hi.